Welcome everybody to Ganesh Darwade classes, and today is the fourth lecture on TDS, and this is the last lecture which I am recording. We'll be covering all the balance provisions. Hey, important parts already done, but some important things from MCQ perspective will be covered in this lecture. So listen to this video carefully. Now we are starting with 194 LC section, and that is on TDS, on interest, when we pay to a non-resident. Please come on, try to concentrate. What is it? TDS on interest to non-resident. Under which section? 194 LC. Now, who will pay? Indian company will pay or business trust will pay? Who will pay? Indian company will pay or business trust will pay? To whom? To any non-resident or to a foreign company. अरे foreign company भी non-resident ही है रे भाई कभी कभी, most of the times. Okay, so come on, try to concentrate. What I said, who will pay? Indian company or business trust? To whom? To foreign company or non-resident. Okay, what is the rate of TDS when we pay interest outside India? The answer is very simple. The rate of TDS is 5% plus surcharge plus health and education cess. Come on, what I said, 5% is the rate of TDS plus surcharge plus health and education cess. In this section, you will see one word called as rupee denominated bonds, and you will be confused. So I'll explain now, and then we'll go to the slides. Okay? Yes, you are enthusiastic, you are energy, and that's what motivates me. Now, what is rupee denominated bonds? Suppose example, I go to foreign country to raise a loan. Suppose I ask, hey Donald, please can you help me with $1 lakh? And Donald Trump said, yes, Mr. Ganesh, I am ready to help you. And he will pay me $1 lakh. And now, when he pays me $1 lakh, I have to pay interest in dollars, yes or no? Suppose 10% is the rate of interest. I need to pay how much? $10,000 as interest per annum, correct? Now, the rate per dollar today is 70, but after 1 year when I am paying interest, may be increased to 75 or may decrease to 68. Fluctuations will be there. And because of that, I may have to pay extra money to Donald Trump. Not fair, right? From my perspective. Because most of the times the rupee value decreases and $1 is equal to 70, then 74, then 80, something like that happens. So most of the time Indians pay the price, feel the loss. So what to do? How to solve the problem? The answer is here. So government of India allowed Indians to take debt, take loans from foreign country by issuing rupee denominated bonds. That means when they give the loan, they don't give loan in dollars. They convert their dollars into Indian rupee and give loan in rupees to us. Now when I pay interest, will I pay dollars? No. I will pay interest in Indian rupee only. So suppose 1 lakh is the loan I took, I will pay 10,000 interest, right? Now that will be converted into dollars and whatever it comes they will get. But at least I as an Indian will have certainty. So this is what we are going to discuss in 194 LC, that is TDS on interest to non-residents. So let's go through the slides and quickly finish off this section. So TDS on interest, okay, TDS on interest to non-resident 194 LC. Who will pay? Indian company or business trust. Indian company or business trust will pay the interest. To whom they will pay? They will pay to a non-resident or a foreign company. To whom? Non-resident or a foreign company. Okay. Now, in respect of money is borrowed, obviously we will take loan, for that only we will pay interest. By Indian company or business trust in foreign currency, please remember that word, in dollar, right? From a source outside India. From a source outside India. Now there are sub points to consider. So obviously there would be loan agreement, and this TDS has to be deducted for loan agreement between 1st July 2012 to 1st July 2023 or next slide. what they said, by way of issue of any long-term bond. So we can issue long-term bonds. Indian company or business trust can issue long-term bonds, a debt instrument, including long-term infrastructure bond also we can issue. But between the same period, why 1st October 2014 to 1st July 2023, as approved by the central government in this behalf. As approved by central government in this behalf. Okay. So sometimes it can be like this also. Now come to point number 2. In respect of monies borrowed, monies means money only, MONEY, okay, borrowed by it, that means Indian company or business trust, from a source outside India, we took loan from foreign country, by way of issue of rupee denominated bonds, that's what I explained till now, before 1st July 2023, please remember that. In respect of monies borrowed by it from source outside India by way of issue of any long-term bond or rupee denominated bond on or after 1st July 2020 but before 1st July 2023, which is listed only on a recognized stock exchange. This is very particular. Okay. Stock exchange located in any international financial services center. So specially they gave permission to IFSC between 2020 to 23. Rupee denominated bond from 2014 to 2023. Infrastructure bonds, oh, lot of time was given, right? 2014 to 2023. Right? Like this you should be able to understand. Now come to the point number 4. Very good. To the extent to which such interest does not exceed the amount of interest calculated at the rate approved by the central government in this behalf, having regard to the terms of the loan or the bonds and its repayment. So we can take loans from foreign country but not beyond a specified rate. नहीं तो foreigners they will give funds and loot us. So government said okay, you can take loan but restricted to a particular interest rate only, not more than that. When tax should be deducted, obviously we will pay interest, so we will deduct tax. Indian company business trust will deduct tax at the time of payment or credit of payee, that is that non-resident or foreign company, whichever is earlier. Now come to the rate of tax. 5% is the rate of tax plus surcharge plus health and education. Thus, please be careful that in respect of point number 3 which we discussed, the rate of TDS will be what? The rate of TDS will be, that means in case of IFSC company point we discussed it, right? Rate of TDS will be 4%. Okay, बाकी सब केस में 5%. Now note, with effect from 1st June 2013, the provisions of section 206 AA, rate of TDS will be 20%. You remember, if PAN is not furnished, then you याद आया सबको, rate of or 20%, whichever is higher, that will not apply, they are telling here. Okay, rate of TDS will be 20% in absence of PAN. Because these people are non-residents or foreign company, how can they furnish PAN? They cannot. That's why that rate will not, that rule of higher TDS will not apply to this assessees, they said. Okay, very good. Now, we have to discuss something about interest on certain bonds by government securities. Okay, let's go through this directly so it is better. 194 LD. What they talk about this? Now, generally they are talking about TDS on income by way of interest on certain bonds, government securities. Now generally what happened here is government issuing the securities, right? Government issuing the bonds, right? So government will deduct TDS. But when government gives to our Indian nationals, no. But when government gives to a foreign institutional investor or qualified foreign investor, that's what they said. Okay, then only they will deduct TDS. So if it is Indian citizen, Indian resident, government is not going to deduct TDS. But if it is qualified foreign investor or foreign institutional investor, then only TDS will be deducted. Okay, yes sir. Now, when these bonds should be issued? After 1st June 2013, but before 1st July 2023, in respect to investment made by the payee. Okay, yes sir. Now payee will invest in rupee denominated bonds, okay, of an Indian company, provided rate of interest shall not exceed notified rate. This is very important, and a government security. Now why they said Indian company? Because there are many companies created by government of India, Indian company. Now see B point, A is over, now B. See, on or after 1st April 2020, but before 1st July 2023, in respect of the investment made by the payee in municipal debt security. So in this case also, the TDS will be deducted under this section. When at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier, rate of TDS is 5% plus surcharge plus health and education, such which we have to be careful of. Okay. So 194M we are going to discuss about, and what that 194M talks about. Hey, TDS will be deducted when individual or HUF make payment on certain areas. Now there are individual and HUF can make payments for some contracts or relating to rent, maybe relating to purchase of some property, right? So many payments are there, which we already covered. Now what is the importance of 194M? Why this section was introduced? Because whenever we read individual HUF, always till now, many cases we saw that individual can deduct TDS if his turnover for business is more than 1 crore, if his gross receipts for profession exceed 50 lakhs. But suppose he is making good payments and his business receipts does not exceed, or business turnover does not exceed 1 crore, gross receipts of profession does not exceed 50 lakhs. Now generally he cannot deduct TDS. But 194M gives the power to that individual HUF if they make certain payments. Suppose example, I am a poor guy. Now my turnover does not exceed 50 lakhs. I am a professional cost accountant in practice. Now my turnover does not exceed 50 lakhs. So I am a poor guy. But what happened? I am getting into a very big project. So for that I made some 50 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 1 crore payment. अरे यार इतने सालों से कमा रहे, जमा तो करेंगे ना थोड़ा तो, right? So I made some 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs payment at a time. Now, should I deduct TDS? As per all the previous sections, no, because I am not a tax audit assessee. My gross receipts does not exceed 50 lakhs per annum, so I should not. But 194M says, Ganesh ji, ऐसा कैसा करोगे तुम? You have to deduct TDS under this section, newly inserted section. So very important, concentrate and listen. Okay, चलिए देखते हैं क्या है इसमें. So TDS on payment of certain sums by certain individuals and HUFs they are talking about. Now 194M we discussed. Now come discuss, see here what they said. Who will deduct? Individual HUF are required to deduct TDS. Now if they deducted under 194C, 194H, 194J, then please this section will not apply. Okay. So other than that, individual HUF will be covered under this. Now what type of payment they are making? So they are making any sum to a resident only. They are paying to resident for carrying out any work including supply of labor. Suppose example, I am constructing house property. Now if I am constructing house property, definitely TDS should be deducted under 194I. But I am not constructing house property, but I am doing some other project for which I require laborer. Somebody is supplying me labor, right? Maybe social service, something or the other. So their TDS will be deducted. Now sometimes what happens that any sum to any resident by way of commission. So I paid some commission. Suppose example, I am transacting something, maybe something around 10 crores, 20 lakhs crores intellectual property I am purchasing, right? 10 crores का intellectual property खरीद लिया, 10% commission I am paying. Now I cannot deduct TDS because there is no particular section for it. But of course 194M covers the gap. Suppose I am paying to any resident by way of fees for professional service. Suppose there is a court case going on, right? Court case going on and I have to pay to a lawyer. Now the case is so fierce that I had to shed some 50 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 1 crore. What to do? I have to deduct TDS here. Okay? Yes, sir. Tax cannot be deducted if the aggregate amount does not exceed 50 lakhs. Okay? In a year, don't worry. When at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. Okay, 5% is the rate of TDS, but COVID rate is 3.75. आपको आदत हो गई होगी. The payer is not required to obtain TAN because PAN will be sufficient. Okay, TAN की जरूरत नहीं है, PAN काफी है. Now 194N we are going to discuss about. Now 194N is on cash withdrawals actually from bank. Oh come on, cash withdrawals from bank, cooperative society. Hey, cooperative society in banking business, banks, cooperative society in banking business, or from post office. If you withdraw more than 1 crore in a financial year, come on, कितना कैश विड्रॉवल किया भाई आपने 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा, सर 1 करोड़ 1 रुपया, अरे चलेगा यार, TDS यहाँ डिडक्ट कर लेंगे, ठीक है. सो इफ यू विड्रॉ more than 1 crore, if you means any SSC withdraws more than 1 crore from bank, post, cooperative society in banking business or post office, then they are supposed to deduct TDS. At what rate? Generally 2%. कब? Generally 2%. But आप लोग चोर हो, डिफॉल्टर हो, 3 साल से इनकम टैक्स के रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया तुमने, right? You did not file the income tax return from last 3 years. Then you will be considered as defaulter, and if you withdraw an amount more than 20 lakhs, still TDS will be deducted at 5% rate. So this is what we will discuss. But again, it would be injustice if TDS is deducted for companies who are operating ATM machine, if the withdrawal is done by some bank, right? If withdrawal is done by government, गवर्नमेंट विड्रॉ करने को आया, चल मैं तेरा भी काटूंगा TDS, चलेगा ऐसा, राइट? व्हेन लास्ट टाइम इन तेलंगाना देयर वर लॉट ऑफ फ्लड्स, KCR विड्रॉन लॉट ऑफ मनी फ्रॉम द बैंक, इन क्रोर्स ही विड्रू कैश. अब KCR तेरा काटूंगा मैं 1% 2% पे TDS, नहीं चलेगा यार ऐसा, ठीक है. दिस इज रॉन्ग. सो दैट्स व्हाई गवर्नमेंट है, बैंक है, ATM मशीन्स है, राइट, वो ऑपरेटिंग कंपनी, फॉर देम TDS will not be there under 194N or under any other section for cash withdrawal. So with this we understood this section. Let us go slide by slide and compare everything and be confident about. Are you ready? Yes. So TDS on payment of certain amounts in cash, 194N section. Now who will be responsible? Banking company, cooperative society, post office are responsible to deduct TDS. Now, who is responsible for paying? Obviously, banks will pay. So, if they pay more than 1 crore, then definitely they are required to deduct TDS on any amount above 1 crore. Suppose they paid 1 crore 10 lakhs. Then on 10 lakhs they will deduct TDS. Okay? Yes, sir. In excess of, you should observe. If it is defaulter, 3 साल से चोर, इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया, defaulter, then for them, if the amount exceeds, cash withdrawal exceeds 20 lakhs, TDS has to be deducted. Now when they should deduct? At the time of payment, जब बैंक कैश पेमेंट करता है तब. अगर समझो बंदा डिफॉल्टर है, then 20 lakhs to 1 crore withdrawal of amounts, 2% is the rate of TDS. Now if it is 20 lakhs, will the TDS be deducted? No. 20 lakhs 1 rupee, yes, TDS has to be deducted. Okay, up to exact 1 crore 2% is the rate of TDS. 1 crore 1 rupee और above जितना भी amount है उन पे 5% for defaulters. Please remember 5% for defaulters. और बाकी जो बेचारे शरीफ लोग हैं मेरे जैसे आपके जैसे है ना, ठीक है, for them only 2% is the rate of, in other cases 2% is the rate of TDS. कितना है भाई जी जल्दी से बोलो? 2% is the rate of TDS. डिफॉल्टर किसको बोलते हैं? एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑलरेडी डिस्कस हो गया. Return has to be filed, but last 3 years they did not file the return. So there was some reverse reaction in the PPTs when I am changing, but all things set right now. Concentrate. So whatever I said, listen carefully. Now exception. Suppose if these provisions whatever we discussed 194N are not applicable to whom? If government withdraws money, if bank withdraws money, cooperative society withdraws money, right, which is engaged in banking business, or if post office withdraws the money, or if any business corresponding to the banking company or cooperative society, right, into banking business, right, in accordance with the guidelines of the Reserve Bank of India, if such company which is withdrawing money for the purpose of bank, cooperative society, post office as per RBI guidelines, or sometimes what happens, there are some ATM companies, they don't have banks, only ATM they have, like Tata company has their own ATM company. So if they have ATM company, so they have to deposit money, they have to take money from bank, withdraw money from bank, go to the ATMs, deposit there, right? So in that case also the withdrawal is okay, the bank will not deduct the TDS because all this is authorized by the Reserve Bank of India. Very good. Or any other person or class of persons which the central government by notification in the official gazette specify in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India or any other notified person. अब याद तो क्या रखना है? बैंक, कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी इन बैंकिंग और पोस्ट ऑफिस और एनी कंपनी नोटिफाइड बाय और एटीएम कंपनी नोटिफाइड बाय आरबीआई. इतना याद रख लो, काफी है. फॉर दिस no need to deduct TDS under 194N even if they withdraw more than 1 crore in a financial year. Other points, tax deducted under section 194N is not considered as deemed receipt of income. Now why they said here, this is very important and crucial. In all other sections which we discuss in this chapter except 192A, on that too we'll discuss later on, don't worry, but here at least under 194N, when TDS is deducted, will not consider it as deemed income. Okay. Generally what happens? Suppose you received 1 lakh interest. 10% is the TDS and you actually get 90,000. Now in your income tax returns, is your income shown as 90,000? The answer is no. It would be shown as 1 lakh. Okay. So TDS will be added to your receipt to calculate your income. But here TDS will not be added under 194N. So whatever TDS deducted under 194N will not be added to your income. That's what they wanted to convey. Chaliye ji, very good, you understood the most interesting chapter topic which is going to come. Now we are going to understand 194O, the most important and interesting section, latest section. Hey, have you heard of Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Shopclue, Wonnik? Yes or no? Yes. What are all these things? These are e-commerce operator. इन सबको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? e-commerce.com. ओ, e-commerce operators. हाँ, बेवकूफ.com भी है आपका, टेंशन मत लो, वो भी है. बेवकूफ.com is also e-commerce operator, but basically they directly sell, so we cannot use for them because they are not a platform, right? Same way when we think about Amazon Prime, Netflix, right? These are also e-commerce operator rendering some entertainment services to all of you. Dineout is there, Uber is there, Ola is there. बाप रे, वो बाउंस वाला एक ऐप है, याद आया थोड़ा सा? These are also e-commerce operators. अब ऐसे बोलते जाऊं तो बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है, राइट? So we'll directly come to the section. 194A is the 194O is the section which we are going to discuss about. Now what happens is, suppose example I registered myself as a seller on Amazon. मैं कैसे खुद को रजिस्टर किया एज ए सेलर ऑन Amazon? चलो गणेश सर के डायरेक्ट टैक्स के CMA इंटर के बुक्स लॉन्च हो गए और मैं रजिस्टर कर लिया. आई रजिस्टर्ड माई सेल्फ ऑन Amazon एज ए सेलर. Now Amazon is e-commerce operator. I am participant, e-commerce participant. Now when books are sold, Amazon gets all the money. They will pay to me whatever my share is. Now whatever Amazon is paying to me, on that Amazon should deduct 2% TDS. कितना जी बोलो जल्दी से? 2% TDS they have to deduct. कितना जी? 2% TDS sir. Very good. You understood. Now the question comes. Sorry, गलत बोल दिया. 1% is the TDS. And COVID rate is 0.75%. COVID rate कितना है? 0.75%. And what is the actual rate of TDS? Just 1% is the rate of TDS. Very good. But suppose Amazon is paying to me less than 5 lakhs. तो क्या TDS यार? इतना छोटा अमाउंट है. साल भर में गणेश सर 5 लाख के भी बुक्स नहीं बेच सके, राइट? सो नो TDS will be there. So we'll try to revise all these things what I discussed till now with PPTs. Okay? Yes. So now we have come to TDS on payment of certain sums to by e-commerce operators to e-commerce participant. I am participant. Amazon is e-commerce operator. Now, who should deduct TDS? Because we are providing services or selling goods on through Amazon, through Flipkart, right? They are facilitating us. We can say they are aggregators, they are facilitators. So they will deduct the TDS. They are the platforms. Okay. Now, TDS will not be deducted if following conditions are satisfied. What are the conditions? Come on, concentrate. E-commerce participant is an individual or HUF. Yes, I am individual. Gross amount received, gross amount of such sale or service or both during the previous year does not exceed rupees 5 lakhs. Now, if it is up to 5 lakhs, then no TDS. But please remember, when they say 5 lakhs, it is the Amazon commission plus whatever they paid to me. Or in simple language, we can say, whatever the price the customers are paying for my products, all that price together, all that payments of customers together for my goods or for my books or for my courses, together, if it is up to 5 lakhs, no need to deduct TDS. But if it is 5 lakhs 1 rupee, then yes, TDS has to be deducted by Amazon. Such e-commerce participant, that is Ganesh sir, has given his PAN number. So what are the 3 things they said? Condition is that no TDS if it is individual HUF, gross receipts by Amazon for such seller is up to 5 lakhs and the participant has furnished his PAN number. Then no need to deduct TDS. But if it is required, then when to deduct TDS? At the time of payment or crediting the party payee, whichever is earlier. Rate of TDS 1%, 1%. Please remember it's 1%. Okay. And COVID rate is 0.75%. Now here when we talk about, it is not only just goods but also services. Please remember. Okay. And they are covering the gross amount. Okay. Suppose if e-commerce participant does not intimate his PAN. So if I did not give PAN, then TDS will be deducted at the rate 5%. कितना rate लगेगा जी? 5% will be the rate of TDS. Come on, concentrate on tax point now. Any payment made by a purchaser of goods. Now, if suppose purchaser of goods is paying something to Amazon and Amazon is paying me, then whatever they received from customer, that is covered. But suppose the Amazon has developed or e-commerce operator has developed such software where directly the payment will come from customer to me and part of the payment will go to Amazon, So there is a two-way banking channel. So in that case, whatever Amazon got, whatever I got from the customer through the platform, all will be totaled. All will be totaled to decide on what amount TDS has to be deducted. Okay? Yes, sir. चलिए जी, come to other points. A transaction in respect of which tax has been deducted by e-commerce operator deducted the tax, which is not liable to deduction due to threshold limit. Okay, they have deducted it or they have not deducted it. But if I am selling through Amazon some goods, on that Amazon can deduct TDS, or some cases they will not deduct TDS, but no TDS under any other section. Please remember, no TDS under any other section. Now e-commerce operator, e-commerce means e-commerce participant, everything I discussed in detail. So we'll go to something called as TDS on other sums payable by non-resident, 195 section. Now suppose any payments are made to a non-resident, then TDS should be deducted. Okay, but when? Under which section? Under section 195 TDS should be deducted. Now suppose a non-resident is getting salary. Suppose example, my YouTube channel developed a lot, and under my YouTube channel there is an employee working called as Chris. So I am paying some salary to Chris. Then obviously I deduct TDS under 192 TDS on salaries, because salary whether paid to resident or non-resident, TDS will be deducted under 192 only. But all other sections, when we saw paid to resident, payee is resident, like that we heard or not? So all other sections applied only to resident payees. But what about non-resident payees? For that 195 section is here. So anything other than salary paid to non-resident and which is taxable in India, then 195 section will attract, TDS has to be deducted. Now when? At the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. What is the rate? The rate applicable. If it is foreign company, 40%, not a foreign company but non-resident individual, right? Then 30%. Why slab rate? So depends. If it is a partnership firm, flat 30%. If it is non-resident individual, 0 to 2 lakh 50, 2 lakh 50 to 5 lakhs. You remember? So as the rates are applicable. But suppose if government is making the payment, government अगर pay कर रही है, तो obviously you know that time के तो पैसे आने वाले नहीं है, right? That's why government said okay, when we make the payment then only we'll deduct the TDS. ठीक है? कोई tension ना. Then hey, suppose whoever is deducting the payment when payments are made to non-resident, whoever is deducting the payment, okay, suppose I am paying to non-resident some interest or maybe some fees, something or the other. Now what I need to do is I need to give information to the government in the prescribed form. Yes, suppose an Indian company is paying to a foreign company which is taxable in India, then statement, declaration, details should be given to Government of India. Yes, yes, yes. But if information is not given, 1 lakh fine. कितना? एक खोका नहीं, एक पेटी. 1 lakh fine would be there. Now last thing which we have to concentrate here is, now what tax will come, how much TDS should be deducted, we are confused. Don't worry, go to assessing officer, tell all the details of transaction. Assessing officer will help you to compute what should be the rate of TDS, how much TDS you should deduct while making the payment to non-resident. This is a wonderful way, because tomorrow there would be no conflict between assessing officer and the resident taxpayer who made the payment to non-resident. Understood or not? Very good. Now we'll go to next section. Now we are going to quickly discuss, because not that important sections, but still it's there, so we'll discuss. Okay, so TDS on income in respect of units. Units means mutual fund units of non-resident. Suppose example, Indian company is there, mutual fund company, Indian mutual fund company. In that non-resident invested money and now he is getting some returns. Under which section TDS has to be deducted? 196A. Now, who is responsible for deducting tax? Any person responsible for paying any income in respect of units of a mutual fund specified under 1023D of the Unit Trust of India to a foreign company. That's why I said foreign company or to a non-resident. That means who is paying? UTI is paying to whom? To a foreign company or non-resident. पक्का याद हो गया ना? Very good. अच्छा सी. Now, when tax shall be deducted? At the time of payment or crediting the party, whichever is earlier. Okay. Rate of, because non-resident foreign company, na, rate is 20% plus surcharge plus health and education cess. Confirm. Now come to exemption or relaxation from the provision. Now, tax shall not be deducted from any income payable. ये आपको स्किप करना है तो बिंदास कर सकते, ये छोटा सा पार्ट. So tax shall not be deducted from any income payable in respect of units of the Unit Trust of India to a non-resident Indian or a non-resident HUF if the following conditions are satisfied. So what they said, अरे भाई तू इंडिया के बाहर जा रहा है, पैसे कमा रहा है, थोड़े पैसे इधर भी भेज. So if that non-resident individual HUF is sending the money to India by investing in units of UTI, we should give them some special privilege, right? And if they are investing through non-resident external account, right? If they are investing the money through non-resident external account, they purchase the units of UTI, right? Right? They used the money to purchase the units of UTI through foreign currency. ठीक है, फिर तो TDS डिडक्ट करने की जरूरत, नो नीड टू डिडक्ट TDS. Non-resident Indian means those who are citizens of India and staying in the foreign country. Now TDS on income from units, again mutual funds only, but 196B. Now till now in 196A we covered only units of Unit Trust of India government company. Now see 196B. Hey, any person responsible for paying any income in respect of units referred to in section 115AB or by way of long-term capital gains arising from the transfer of such units to the offshore funds. Now here I will particularly tell you, only when you transfer the units, right, capital gains arise, then only TDS will be deducted. हाँ, डिविडेंड इनकम इज एग्जाम्प्ट अंडर 115O. ओके, चलिए जी. पेमेंट और क्रेडिटिंग विच एवर इज अर्लियर द TDS शुड बी डिडक्टेड. ऑन कैपिटल गेन्स द रेट ऑफ TDS इज 10% प्लस सरचार्ज प्लस हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन सेस. व्हाई आई सेड दैट ओनली ऑन कैपिटल गेन्स द TDS इज देयर, on other incomes like dividend no, because of this note. See, from 2003 they said no TDS on other incomes, only TDS on long term. Okay, चलिए जी. TDS on income from foreign currency bonds or GDRs. Hey, GDRs are global depository receipts. Suppose Indian company is there, want to raise money from foreign market, लंदन से पैसे लाना है, अमेरिका से पैसे लाना है, and American investors, we want investments from them in our country. So it is done through a process called as global depository receipts. Suppose I set up a company, Skillwill Private Limited, and in that I want money from foreign country, from American investors. Then what I will do, from my company I will allocate shares to Kotak Securities, any depository in India, Kotak Securities. I took the example. It can be HDFC, ICICI Securities also. Now, Kotak Securities will have a tie-up with the depositories or shares type of companies in that country or bank in that country, and that country bank will raise money through the investors from there and send the money to my company. Now what the foreign investors will get? Not shares. They will get global depository receipts. Okay. Now suppose TDS on income from foreign currency bonds are there or GDRs are there. So it is covered under 196D. Dividend will be paid, right? Yes, sir. Who is responsible to deduct TDS? Come on, try to concentrate. Any person responsible for paying any income by way of interest or dividend in respect of bonds or global depository receipts referred to in section 115 AC or by way of long-term capital gains arising from the transfer of such bonds. So if it is dividend income or interest income or capital gain income to a non-resident, then it is TDS is deducted under this section, that is 196C. Now, when TDS should be deducted? At the time of payment or crediting the party, whichever is earlier. Rate of TDS is 10% plus surcharge plus health and education cess. Tax shall not be deducted in respect of any dividends referred to in 115O. तो यहाँ TDS डिडक्ट नहीं होगा. Come to next section. Because these are not that important, so I am going fast. Okay, because I have to save your time too. TDS on income of FII, foreign institutional investors from securities. Now foreign institutional investors, they invest money into Indian stock market. वो लोग स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा लगाते और पैसा कमाते. They don't do real business in our country. They don't invest in companies for doing business. They invest in stock market to earn money or get profits to stock price fluctuations. That are foreign institutional investors. So they will get some income under by investing in stock markets. So for that TDS has to be deducted under 196D section. Okay, who is responsible? So the person responsible for paying any income in respect of securities referred to in section 115 AD subsection 1 clause A, not being interest referred to in 194 LD, because if it is interest under 194 LD, under that section TDS will be deducted. But if it is other than interest income, okay, then here TDS will be deducted in respect of FIIs. Okay. To foreign institutional investors or specified funds referred to in section 10 subsection 4040. When TDS should be deducted? If it is payment or crediting the pay, whichever is earlier. Rate of TDS is 20% plus 10%. Okay, 20%. If 10% is the case, if it is specified fund, and obviously surcharge will be added, health and education cess will be added. Tax shall not be deducted from any capital gains arising from the transfer of securities referred to in section 115 AD payable to a foreign institutional investor. Similarly, tax shall not be deducted if such income is exempt under section 10 subsection 40. So if it is exempt under section 10 subsection 40, or if it is capital gains which arise to foreign institutional investors by transferring shares, then in these two cases no TDS will be deducted. Right? Concentrate. Chalo, very good. So now other provisions, some miscellaneous provisions we will be discussing about TDS. Hey, suppose example we are making the payment to government. अगर आपने government, state government, central government, local authority, or you made the payment to any authority set up by the government, then should you deduct TDS? अरे भाई पैसा जाएगा किसको? गवर्नमेंट को ही ना. तो will again you deduct TDS when you make payment to government. So that's why they said if you are making payment to government, local authority or any authority set up by the government, then no need to deduct TDS. TDS deduct करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Now when you make the TDS is deducted, is it your income? When you file the return, what will you show? Whatever you received or plus TDS? The answer is plus TDS. Suppose example, you purchase the bonds of some company and 1 lakh worth bonds you purchased. Now 10,000 is the interest they paid to, actually they have to pay to you. Now what happened? 10% is the rate of TDS. So what they did, 10,000 is the interest, 1,000 is the TDS, they paid you 9,000. Now in your income tax return, will you show 9,000 as income or plus 1,000, 10,000 as income? And they say here that TDS is also income. So 9,000 is also your income, plus 1,000 is also your income. So your income comes to how much? Yes, you have to remember that your income is 10,000 rupees. Now, you need to actually, please concentrate 1 second, I will see and discuss. TDS deducted is your income. But there are 2 sections actually which we have to concentrate on. Tax deducted is income, I said. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Now, they said that there are some exceptions. What are that exceptions? Let's concentrate. Now, under 192A, under which section? 192A. क्या बोले जल्दी से ध्यान से सुनो. Actually, employer gives you some non-monetary perquisites. Maybe rent-free accommodation he gave you because you are employee. You should stay somewhere. So employer gave you accommodation to live. Maybe he has given car for you to travel for office purpose. Some benefit or the other in non-monetary way employer gave to you. Now on that, actually it is taxable to you. Yes or no? Yes, sir. But what employer did, he only paid the tax. On the non-monetary perquisite, actually you should pay tax. So TDS has to be deducted. But employer paid tax, so he did not deduct the TDS. It's okay. Under 194N, you know that cash withdrawal 1 crore 20 lakhs wala. In this lecture only we discussed, yes or no? So on that also, we need not add it as income. Okay? 194N में जो TDS deduct होता है, that is not added as income. And under 192, 1A, on non-monetary perquisites, if the employer pays the tax, it will also not be added as income because the tax paid by employer on the perquisite given to you is actually not allowed as deduction to the employer, disallowed under section 40. So anyhow he is paying tax on it, right? So again you need not pay tax. It is exempt for you under section 10. So that's why they said no need to deduct TDS. Okay? Yes, sir. Now come to the next thing. When any income is paid net of tax. So what they are telling? Net of tax. Net of tax का मतलब क्या है sir? That means they paid you income and on that they only paid the tax. So you need not pay any tax. So what the government says, whatever is paid to you plus tax has to be calculated and on that tax should be calculated. That means the income should be grossed up, tax should be calculated, that will be paid to government. Perfect. So grossing up is required. But in relation to 192(1)(a, non-monetary perquisites, grossing up is not required. Okay? Clear all of you? Yes, sir. Come to the next section. Credit for tax deducted. Now suppose I am doing a job. Now when I am doing a job, obviously employer will deduct tax and I will furnish my PAN to the employer. Now at the end of the year, when I file the return, अरे बाबा, at the end of the year return file करते ना? Yes, sir. Now my total income will be shown and total tax will be shown. From that total tax, this TDS, whatever the employer deducted, will be reduced. So in my income tax login, when I log in with my username password, TDS will be shown that Ganesh ji, आपके नाम पे इतना TDS है. Clear or not? That I can use for paying the tax. So credit of TDS will be available. But suppose if I don't mention my PAN, then I will not get any credit of TDS. Simple as that. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Come on. Next thing they said, any sum referred to in section 192(1)(a and paid to the central government shall be treated as the tax paid on behalf of such employee. So obviously, under 192(1)(a, even though the employer pays the tax, it is paid on behalf of employee. Yes or no? Are in relation to non-monetary perquisite? Yes, sir. So employee के तरफ से employer pay किया. On behalf of employee, employer paid the tax to the government. Okay? Yes, that's brilliant. Next, certificate for deduction of lower rate of TDS. We'll discuss. In the last lectures, already I discussed about section 197 and 197A. Now what I will do for you, a small comparative study so that you will be clear with. Now 197 section is applicable. Suppose your income is more than 2,50,000. Hey, come on. You are an individual. Your income is more than 2,50,000. But you are not leviable to tax. Suppose example, I am working in a college and I am getting something around 6,50,000 or 7 lakh salary per annum. What I will tell to college? Arey bhai ji, sir, wait. I will get EITU deduction 1,25,000, EITC deduction 1,50,000, EIT deduction D ka deduction 25,000, and some other deductions I will get like EIT, CC, D also I will get the deduction. So like that I will say, EIT CCD 1 भी ले सकता हूँ, कहीं को टेंशन ले रहे तुम लोग, ठीक है? So like that I will say that 2.5 lakhs deduction मिलता, तो 7 lakhs minus 2.5 lakh करोगे तो 4,50,000 and because of 87 rebate no tax. So like that if I am able to claim, then I will submit form number 13 to the government. Government will check, गणेश जी आपका इनकम कितना है, TDS ऑलरेडी कितना डिडक्ट हुआ, एडवांस टैक्स कितना पे करे, ऑल दैट एडजस्टमेंट दे विल डू एंड फाइनली दे विल से बाबा आपको टैक्स देने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट will the government give the certificate to me? No. They will send the certificate to my employer. That is 197A. 197. Now come to 197A. What is 197A? Suppose there is a person, bechara bapura, garib admi. His income is less than 2,50,000. He is not liable to pay tax at all. कोई चांस ही नहीं है उसको टैक्स लगेगा. अब उसका भी TDS काटोगे ना बाबा ना, नहीं करना है ना ऐसा. Yes sir. So then this person will submit 15G form. कौन सा? अरे 15G form. अरे सर बेचारे सीनियर सिटीजन है, बूढ़े आदमी है, अरे उनके लिए भी है 15H form. Okay. So normal people 15G and senior citizen 15H. They will submit this form and say that our income is less than basic exemption limit. हमको कोई टैक्स लगने का कोई चांस नहीं है सर बोल के they will tell. And government will say, okay baba, okay, no problem, no need to deduct TDS. This happens under 197A if their income is less than basic exemption limit. Total income throughout the year is less than 2,50,000, then only this will apply. And which form? 15G, normal people, and senior citizen, respected senior citizens, 15H form. Okay, clear? Yes sir. Now duty of persons responsible for deduction tax at source. Okay. Now they have to deduct the tax, right? Yes or no? How they should deduct? From the payments whatever they are doing. But they have to not only deduct but also deposit the money with government through the banking channel. Okay. When they should deposit the money? If the tax is deducted on behalf of the government के तरफ से, then the tax where the tax is paid without provision of any income tax challan. If there is no income tax challan, immediately the money should be deposited with the government. Immediately, abbi ke abbi. But suppose if income tax challan is submitted, then next month 7th. What they said? Next month 7th. That means, अरे बाबा April month TDS by May 7th you should deposit, May month TDS, June 7th you should deposit, June month TDS, July 7th, January month TDS, February 7th you should deposit. Okay sir? Yes sir. When the assessing officer, after obtaining prior approval from joint commissioner, now assessing officer, we requested the assessing officer कि sir deducting or depositing every month is not possible, please permit us quarterly deposit. Then we requested, the assessing officer said okay, no problem, but he also spoke to the joint commissioner and decided okay, no problem, quarterly permitted, where deduction is made under section 192, 194A and 194D, 194H, this section. Then they said July cents, okay, there are 4 quarters in a year, April, May, June, July 7th TDS should be deposited, July, August, September, October 7th, October, November, December, January 7th, Jan, Feb, March, April 30th, please come on, concentrate, April 30th. So generally it is 7th day after quarter end, but if it is March quarter end, April 30 would be the date. Please concentrate. Okay. In other cases, this is quite common. MCQ question will come on this only. Generally, it is 7th of the next month. Generally, it is 7th of the next month. But if it is March month, April 30th. Okay, this is how you should remember. Now come to the exception, where tax is deducted under section 194IA or under section 194IB, tax shall be paid to the credit of the central government within a period of how much? Within 30 days from the end of the month in which the deduction is made, and shall be accompanied by a challan. And under which form? If it is form number 26 QB for 194 IA and QC for 194 IP. So generally what happens? These are the cases where properties are transferred, right? And the value is more than 50 lakhs, then TDS has to be deducted. You remember? Yes, sir. Then whenever you actually deduct the tax within 1 month, you should deposit, because it is a single transaction, not a regular one. That's why they said like this. Okay? Yes, sir. Now, they said issuance of certificate to the payee. Obviously, TDS you deduct, you should file the TDS return with the government and you should issue the certificate to the payee. Now, if it is salary form 16, you should give. And when you should give form 16, they said every year you should give. Annual certificate it is. Okay. It should be given before June 15th. Why June 15th? Once the previous year ends, like 2021 is the previous year, it ends, then 15th June 2021 you should give the certificate, form 16. Why? Because till July 31st return can be filed. Okay, that's why. And if it is other than form 16, that is other than salary, then quarterly it should be given in form number 16A, right? And once the quarter is over, 15th of the next month. That means April, May, June quarter end, July 15th. Like that they are communicating to you. Right? Yes, sir. Now we'll discuss about filing of returns, filing of TDS returns. Till now we discussed about due dates for payment of TDS to the government. 7th of next month, If it is March month, then 30th of April. All that was paying the money to government, depositing the TDS money to government. But now here I am discussing the TDS return, the declaration to be given by the deductor to the government. Now, when it is quarterly, April, May, June month, quarter end. Now, July 31st, the return should be filed. July, August, September quarter. अक्टूबर 31st तक क्या करना भाई जी? टीडीएस रिटर्न शुड बी सबमिटेड. अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी 31st तक टीडीएस रिटर्न फाइल करना. अरे अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर का क्वार्टर के लिए बोल रहा हूं मैं. दिस इज द क्वार्टर, अक्टूबर टू दिसंबर क्वार्टर. टीडीएस रिटर्न शुड बी फाइल्ड बाय जनवरी 31st. जनवरी, फेब्रुवरी, मार्च क्वार्टर. ना, April 30th nahi. Here 2 months are given till May 31st. So generally for each quarter end, within 1 month after the end of quarter, but for Jan to March quarter, within 2 months, you have to remember like this. Now, many a times, along with contracts, along with interest, or along with any payment, GST is also included. Now the question came that should we deduct TDS on GST also, GST component also, and the answer is no TDS on GST component. Please remember, no TDS on GST component. So with this we completed the lecture. Some small miscellaneous topics are there which are very simple, you can read, and if you seriously want you can even skip. Okay, so notes are given in the description. So you can download, share the video with all your friends. Do comment below how you felt the lecture and what you further want from me. I am always there to help you. Right? So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care. If you are not vaccinated, do vaccinate yourself. Promote vaccination and stay safe, stay healthy.